Slave Zero is an FPS released on the Sega Dreamcast exclusively in 1999. It received mixed reception back in the day, but mostly positive reviews. Let's see if it holds up. The graphics are a mixed bag, even for its time. It does have some nice lighting and explosions. Also, I do like the inclusion of little people that you can brutally murder. But whenever there's a curve in the road, it just looks really bad. Plus, the frame rate is cataclysmically abysmal. I would accept this if this was a rushed N64 game that's being forced into 480p via the expansion pack. But it's not. It's a Dreamcast game. Also, there's this gross texture warping. What is this, the PlayStation? 2 out of 5.
If the Guardians succeed in their evacuation attempt, you die. Consider it an investment in your career.
The game takes place in a dystopian cyberpunk future, where a dictator named Sovkhan is ruling the world. He is accomplishing this goal with a bunch of giant slave robots, but you are a good guy robot, so you must kill him. This story is told through the cutscenes you see in between the levels. And they're not pre-rendered, they're animated with in-game graphics, so they don't look very good. But for an FPS in 1999, this is a lot more effort than most. But viewing this as a game in general, it's really only above average. I'll give this a 3 out of 5. My main gripe with the sound in this game is that there's no music during gameplay, only during the intro and the credits. Plus, it has a plethora of audio glitches, such as the first weapon you get in the game not having any sound effect. And I've played this game multiple times, it happens every time. The sound effects aren't crystal clear, but they're good enough, and the voice acting is actually surprisingly good for a game of this caliber.
The House of Chan returns.
Sound familiar? Well, that's Charles Martinet, the voice actor for Waluigi. But not having music at all during gameplay really makes the game feel empty, and if the sound is so empty in a game that it somewhat taints the fun, I'm gonna have to give it a 2 out of 5.
Slave Zero prototype shows all systems nominal. Guardian Chan, you are a go for assault on Kamare.
The game contains 15 lengthy levels that at the end comes to around 4 hours of screen time. To put that in perspective, that's pretty much just as long as any FPS that comes out nowadays. And this came out back in 1999. It also comes with a multiplayer deathmatch mode that has 10 maps. To put that in perspective, that's more maps than the original Halo. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. The game is a first-person shooter. With a twist! You're big, which doesn't really affect the enemies since they're also big, but it's just kind of cool exploring the teeny tiny New York City. The game has weapons, secondary weapons, thirdary weapons, and hand-to-hand combat. It also supports the rumble pack and does a really good job at it. There's nothing like ripping open a robot and having it rumble. It's like I'm really there. Now, an FPS that came out exclusively on a console that doesn't have 2 analog sticks, it has 2 choices. Choice number 1, make it suck. Choice number 2, use the face buttons as a second toggle stick. Now, despite what people say, it's not the worst thing ever, you'll get used to it, and I'm glad they did this. And as for the game itself, it's pretty fast-paced and honestly pretty fun. But there are some debilitating flaws that keeps the experience down. Such as the loading times. They take forever. I guess I'll continue the review. Also, there's no checkpoints, and I've practically softlocked myself at level 12, because not only is level 12 ridiculous, but also, whenever you get to a new level, your health doesn't recharge. So make sure to pick up as much health as you can before you go to the next level, otherwise you'll face dozens of robots with only 2 health left. So if I ever want to beat this game, I'm gonna have to restart. It's designed that poorly. End! So I'll give it a 3 out of 5 because it is fun, it just gets really frustrating in the second half.
Eddie, let me go back to my home. Without me, everything's all wrong. Eddie, let me go back to my home. Let me put things back where they belong. Eddie, let me go back to my home. Without me, everything's all wrong. Eddie, let me go back to my home.